we might just have the best survival horror game of all time on our hands, people. Yo, what's good? It's been Store. So look, the Resident Evil 4 remake demo is here, and I've been playing the hell out of it, of course. And I wanted to go ahead and give my overall impressions of what we got so far. Obviously, it's just a demo, so I know this isn't necessarily indicative of what the full game might be like, right? The demo could be great, and it is, but the entire game as a package may not be great. I doubt it, based on what we got so far from the demo and what we've seen, but hey, it is possible. It's possible. So this video is kind of just for fun, to give some quick impressions to kind of illustrate why I'm so hyped for the game come its full release soon. Lastly, just keep in mind, right, the footage you're seeing is of my very first playthrough of the demo, and I was a bit scared at times, alright? So I'm not doing things I should be doing, like parrying, and I may make some mistakes. Don't be too harsh on me. Alright, let's get into it. So first and foremost, right, I got to talk about what I liked the most about this game from this demo, right, compared to the original. And it's that while playing the remake on the first playthrough of this demo, I felt legitimately scared. Which, if I'm remembering correctly, on my first playthrough of Resident Evil 4 back when I was a teen, yeah, I don't remember being scared like at all. I can remember vividly being scared for Dead Space 1 back in the day, Evil Within 1, some other survival horrors, but not Resident Evil 4. So I was pleasantly surprised to actually find myself getting like goosebumps and being fearful as I was walking through the forest leading up to the village and the hunter's lodge and the house and all that good stuff. And as I was sneaking around the village for the first time before I alerted the villagers, there was an actual sense of tension there, you know what I mean? Also, there were some genuinely good moments that got a good scare out of me in combat as well. First off is when I tried to see how the remake, you know, it handles. In the original, you could go up to that tower, you know, I think it's a church bell tower or what have you, and I wanted to see how the remake handled it. I went up there thinking it'd be like the original, you know, I'd be good, I could just camp out here for a bit, but no, when the floor from the tower got knocked out from under me and I fell down there was a legit scream from me. I was scared, all right? Also, when I was sneaking around in the houses, I went into one house in particular in the village, and a random ganado just burst into the house, kicking the door down, and he scared the hell out of me. And that was before, like, I hadn't alerted anyone yet. I was still kind of sneaking, and I thought that no one had noticed me. And I was just chilling in the house minding my business, and that guy just kicks the door down, and I start screaming. I'm telling you, man. You know, I really hope that the entire game can keep up with these kinds of moments. I know, all right, the original Resident Evil 4 wasn't necessarily scary and was more action focused, and some people might love that about the original, but for me personally, I'd really be excited to see this game lean a bit more into its horror side as a game that exists in a survival horror franchise. You know, they absolutely nailed this aspect in the Resident Evil 2 remake, which used to be my favorite survival horror game of all time. You know, like the dark parts of the RPD in that game were just so creepy to traverse. And if they can capture some of that awesome horror here as well, I'd be so happy. Quick side note here about all that, not necessarily scary, but this is more dark than it was in the original, and it's how from the beginning cutscene it looks like they're trying to make Leon's appointment to his position much more dark, regretful, and like against his will, right? It seems he is resentful. He resents the training he had to endure and is suffering some sort of like depression from surviving Raccoon City, as well as seeking, you know, Ada, someone he potentially fell for, is gone, is dead. And I like that while Leon is still kind of quippy and he is cheesy, I like that they're exploring this much more serious and dark side of Leon's backstory when transitioning from Resident Evil 2 to Resident Evil 4. We'll see how this pays off throughout the game and how far they actually push this, you know? Next thing I want to talk about, and I really hope this proves true for the entire game, is how amazing of a job that Capcom did when it comes to changing things, such as layouts and the overall feel of certain areas, while still keeping them familiar. That's important, right? Like the beginning area with the forest path leading up to the hunter's lodge, it's so terrifying, which is a drastic difference, like I said before, from the original Resident Evil 4. It's much more dark and spooky, with the layout being a bit different, but it still feels like you're playing Resident Evil 4 regardless of those changes. Dead Space Remake did this masterfully throughout the entire game, and I'm hopeful from what I've seen so far that Capcom has the ability to do it here too, right? Another YouTuber, I think it was Maximilian Dude, he said it best, if I'm remembering correctly, and it's that the Resident Evil 4 Remake just makes this game look how we've always imagined it this entire time, right? And I think them changing enough but not changing too much is what makes this remake, is what makes this game feels like it accomplishes that. You know what I mean? Kind of piggybacking off of that a little bit, man. Like, do y'all notice how much more claustrophobic this remake feels? Like, I'm telling you, I feel like these ganados are sticking to me like glue. Are they really a lot faster here when compared to the original, or am I just tripping or something? Like, I feel like I'll run for a little bit in the village, try to create some distance, and I do a quick turnaround, and I'm like, yo, what the hell? You're already here in front of me. There's already Ganado like right in my face, and I'm like, bro, I know I was running. I know I was pressing the sprint button. Like, what the hell? And to be honest, though, I love it, right? It makes me feel like I always got to be on my toes, and just like with the rest of the positives, I managed, just like with the rest of the positives, I hope that this manages to stay this way throughout the entire game. Is what I meant to say, right? I'll say if I did have any negatives or things I didn't like as much, I'll say that sometimes when I'm trying to run past enemies, there are times when they manage to like get a grab on me or get a hit on me, and I'm on normal difficulty, and it feels like they're like magnetizing towards me or something. I'm like, oh, come on. That hit felt like impossible to avoid, but that could just be me. Maybe I need to get good, so I'm not sure if that's like an intrinsic actual negative or if it's just something I'll get more familiar with and better at as I play. That's kind of like my only gripe. Again, it's a short demo. There's not too much here in this short time that I was like, wow, I really hate this. Not really anything, right? I will finish this up by saying, of course, things like the sound design, right? Top notch, from everything to the gunshots, enemy voice lines, Leon's voice acting, the guttural sounds when Leon gets like slashed or impaled. All of it's mad impressive, as is the graphical fidelity of everything from the environments, the textures on items, and the villagers and Leon himself. Right? Everything looks really shiny, nice, good texture, good quality, loving all of it, right? But I want to go into more detail on that stuff for the full review, and I don't want to ramble on too much for this, as it's an impressions video, right? So I'm gonna just leave that where it is for now. We'll expand on that more for the full review. And yeah, those are my impressions so far for the bit of Resident Evil 4 Remake we did get to experience in the demo. What did y'all think about it, right? Did it get you more excited for the game? What didn't you like? Are there things about it you didn't like? Be sure to comment and let me know below. And if you've made it to this far of the video, as always, I greatly appreciate you. And I will catch you on the next video. Y'all be easy, man. Peace.